I'm about to take you on a journey. A journey you normally wouldn't take in your daily travels. This is a journey that starts at the very beginning of the Jabsco Macerating Toilet system all the way to its very end. If you're feeling bold and want to learn a few things, or just see how this system is laid out, please join me. Okay, let's head into the boat, into the aft door. And down into the cuddy area. Here's my head. There's the Jabsco Macerating Toilet. You may have seen this before. I've seen it completely torn apart after fixing a few issues. Let's go into my cuddy. This is one of the bunks here. The other side I've taken apart and put an entertainment system in and an air conditioner and things. So I'll sit over here and let's look at this system. Let me get my little flashlight out. Okay, the first thing I'll point out is the bilge buster, odor detector, and eliminator. And this is the beginning of the system right here. That is a intake for water that goes to the toilet for flushing. You can see there's a C-cock there. You can open and close that. Right now it's open. That line goes all the way forward, past the tank, and up to the toilet. This is a 40-gallon plastic tank, black water. Let's see. One other thing back here I'll point out is there's the evacuation line that goes out to my macerator pump that pumps it out through the side. It also goes to a Y valve, which basically pumps it out the top where you do a legal vacuum pump out. Okay, back up into the head. This is the black line that you saw coming in for the water intake. Here's the cover for the pump. The pump does two things. It pulls water up and it runs it through the toilet for flushing, and it also runs the evacuation part where your impeller is at that pulls out the waste. Let's take this cover off. That comes right off like that, and you can see it's just a regular pump back there. The water comes into that pump, and then it's pumped out through this line, and that white line goes up to the back of the toilet there. And let me see here, I'll flush it and you'll see water coming in. So it pulls that water in through this area here, which allows you to clean out all these sediment, any fluids, solids that go down into the tank. So those fluids then go to this area here. This is the evacuation for the toilet. It's pulled out through it's got a vortex impeller that's mounted inside here and turns this way. And basically it pushes the sediment and liquids out through this tube into the black tank. Okay, so I mentioned the vortex impeller that's basically in this system. It is mounted to the front of that pump, and it looks like this. This thing turns, and it pushes, and it creates a vortex that makes water forced through this. So it chops up the solids, and then it pushes the water through this area here. In that white housing, you'll see something I've got here on the outside. This is called a joker valve. This lets liquids go through this way, but not return this way. So everything that goes out, you don't want it coming back in. So this valve allows us to do that. So all the fumes and the liquids that go to the tank cannot return back up through the toilet. Okay, so the solids from the toilet come from this white tube back in to the top and into this tank here. There's another hose coming out of the top of this black hose right here that goes to a front outfitting on the port side of the boat. Basically, that is the vent that lets air, methane gas out of the tank. If you have a buildup of methane gas, it can be dangerous. It can also ignite just like gasoline. So you want this vent to be clear. A lot of times in the past, what I will do is I'll take a shop vac and reverse so it blows, and I'll connect it to that front intake line where the outfitting is at, and it basically pushes any liquids that have happened to make their way down this pipe back into the tank. So it's another thing you'll see here are two wires that are connected to the side of this tank. They're screwed in right there and right there. Those are the sensors for the level light that you have on your panel. You may or may not, but I'm assuming a lot of these holiday mansions have the same setup. And basically those are two lines that go to this holding tank light, 3/4 full. When that connection is made through the liquids, it turns that light on. And let's see if we can find it in the panel. On this boat, it says holding tank. And what that does, that indicates it turns the light on. So when your tank gets to 3/4 full, the light comes on. The main power to the toilet is this bottom one here. So if your toilet ever doesn't work out of nowhere, maybe you walked down this walkway and bumped one of these buttons. So that's the front tank power. That powers that little pump that pulls in water and flushes it down into the black tank. As part of the troubleshooting of this system, I'll tell you about one thing that happened to me. Basically, I was at a point where things were going into the toilet, and as you flushed it, you heard the pump cycling, but nothing was moving in there. So, I mean, basically, I took the entire thing apart. It's an easy, actually, deconstruction. These bolts hold it to this base, and you pull it off, and you disconnect the pump, and you take it all apart, and inside that housing, this impeller, this vortex impeller sets, and what had happened was this little Allen screw was not secure anymore. So the pump would turn, but it wouldn't turn this impeller, forcing the solids through that pipe. So I'd taken it all apart, and I found this loose, and I had reinserted that Allen screw to tighten it up. So I had bought this in case I wanted to just replace that. So I've got this as a part that I'm just going to use as a backup. So that Allen screw, once you've secured this, the toilet worked fine again. Another thing that you may need to troubleshoot is the pump if it gets stuck. Sometimes the solids in there will kind of deter the impeller from turning. So you have to actually manually turn the pump with a screwdriver. And let me show you how to do that. It's a tight fit back here. If you hear the pump like wanting to turn, but it's getting caught, you'll hear like a noise like this. Listen. But it won't turn when you're trying to flush it. It means something is maybe stuck down in there. So this pump actually can be turned with this end screw right here. And you'll see that screw right there. It's trying to focus on it. That screw head, basically you take your screwdriver and you put the side of the screwdriver in that slot. Okay, you can barely see it, but I've got the slot of the screwdriver in the slot of the end of the pump. And you take and you turn that shaft, and it'll do just enough to get the pump running again. It kind of dislodges whatever there, and it'll allow you to start pumping again. So if your pump ever gets stuck and you hear it wanting to turn but it won't, that's an option that you can check on. Okay, so we have solids and liquids in this black tank, and we want to get them out of this boat. That's the line there, that bottom line that goes out through the side. Let me go ahead and show you that, and then we'll switch to another view. The water line coming up to the Y valve here allows you to switch between pumping out through the side with this pump, or it goes out through the main deck where you pump it out with a vacuum. So that's the end of the system. And these are the two exits for the black tank. The one on top is where you go to have it pumped out at your gas dock, or they may come around and pump it out for you. All the black waste comes out through that outlet right there. If you pump out through the side, you've also got an outfitting there that would put it out into the ocean or wherever you're pumping it out into. Hope you've enjoyed our little trip. We all made it back, right? Everybody's here? You. Good. Okay. In summary, this system has been a good system for me. It's easy to learn when you take it apart. Some systems are pretty complicated. I find this one to be pretty standard and pretty simple. I'll have images of the manual and those extra parts, impeller, vortex impeller, and the joker valve in case you need those. Or you can just go to the Jabsco website, I think it is, or one of the marine parts websites, and they usually sell those Jabsco replacement parts. They're pretty easy to find. Anyways, hey, thanks for watching. If you got anything out of this video, I need your help, man. I'm kind of new here. I'm coming back from years back, and I'm starting to do some cool videos for my holiday mansion and other boondocking / tiny boat ideas. So like, subscribe, and share it with friends you think might be interested in this kind of information. Thanks.